Probably really more Bob's oils that we could smell, but they would permeate into the archaeology lab. And so when I think of Carl, I guess I think part of all the hospitality that Carol shared with us over the years and opened up a world for me, really, because I love archaeology, but I don't know that I ever would have come to have an appreciation for art that I have without Carol. I think of Carl. I remember a few times going to a restaurant with him, sitting there waiting for him to turn around, and all of a sudden there would be a fish floating in Carl's water glass, which he had talking about it. So I have so many memories of Carl, but I did want to say that when we were visiting with Carl just a few days ago, we talked a little bit about a couple of the students and Kiko, a couple of the students. And I found a picture from 1989, the Thanksgiving dinner that Carl invited Adrian and I and Kiko over to. And particularly called last night visiting Adrian about everything that Carl did also. So Carl's reach is wide for sure.
I'm Adrian Hannes, and I guess Carl and I certainly trekked across a very, very long landscape, but one of the many things that happened that was kind of humorous, of many that were humorous, was when we were down in Mexico on the same trek that G was on, the understanding was it was going to be split between the students who were down there to study watercoloring with Carl, and then the students who were down there to study archaeology with myself. And so that was fine that we get down there and get set up. And we had an archaeologist that was hosting this. But in any case, about 2 days into this project, Carl came to me and he said, you know, none of my people want to do watercoloring, they all want to do archaeology. So he said, I guess that I'll have to give up and repent or something and become an archaeologist. So for the rest of the trip we did archaeology. But Carl certainly, I mean, it's very difficult to encapsulate the profound effect that Carl had on everyone who knew him, but on myself. I am not an artist. I have no background in art whatsoever. He and Paul Mulder asked me to be the gallery director. I do have some background in museum work, but Carl really, over these many years, made me so pointedly aware of not only the depth of his knowledge of the arts throughout history, but also, you know, he really brought me into a level of appreciation which I would never have had as I walk through galleries and so on, because I can really hear, in many cases, his voice, you know, resoundingly in my head, explaining some particular artist's works. So anyway, it was a profound adventure with Carl. Certainly leaves a tremendous void.
My name is Mike Luce. I would say that I'm the token non-artist in this room. Adrian may be a close second. So I'm the least talented person in this room. But I am equally aware of life, like the rest of you, because of Carl Grupp. Knowing Carl Grupp as a friend, always felt like I was in a movie. Carl Grupp is the character of Carl Grupp is of a script from The Greatest Movie or The Greatest Book. You can't, he's not a real character. So you can't have all of the traits that Carl Grubb had, his uniqueness. And all the times we talked, I never talked to him about art and how, not about his art, how he created his fish, once in a while. But we talked about jazz, we talked about art, we talked about life. And never once was he negative about anybody. I assume students, he had to be tough with you, but how did he never talked anything other than the joy of life and experience. He wrote that poem in his book about just experiencing life and being aware. And he taught me more about being aware and appreciating what is valuable in our lives than anybody ever knew. He was the Albert Finney of the big fish in real life. He was the most wonderful, most magical, most sensitive, most caring, and the smartest person I've ever known.
I'm Carol Wright, and I would just be called a faithful companion of 33 and a half years. Carl and I met in 1986 when I took a student over to get him enrolled in a drawing class. And after we talked about it in his office, and I was just amazed at his office. It was like nothing I'd ever seen. I asked him, if I could enroll this young man in piano, and he said, absolutely. He has no background. He's in high school, and I said, well, I'm a mentor for a lot of high school students who need a little bit more because they're very talented and to study. And he hemmed and hawed and said, well, we'll look at the schedule. And it turned out he looked at the schedule and it didn't fit my student. And so I think the young man eventually ended up in design class that fit his time. But down the line, after Carl and I argued for a long time, I got a phone call and he said, "You want to go out with me?" And I kind of knew from talking to him that we were both fairly recently divorced, that we were both enrolled. And I said, yeah, I'd love to. So we went to a play, and pretty soon we decided we wanted to be together for the rest of our lives. And that's all I have to say.
Hi, my name is Jeff Grant. I've been a friend of Carl's for about 40 years, so we've just gotten to know each other a bit. That Adrian left SDSU. I talked with Adrian in the department up there. He came down to Augustana. SDSU's lost, Augustana's gained. And we came down to have dinner one night, and he introduced me to Carl. So we had a great time. We always enjoyed going out with Carl and Carol. The first time we had dinner, and the first time I met him, we sat down at the table, and he reached into his pocket, and he pulled out a fish and dropped it in his water glass. It got to be a signature move for Carl. It was just wonderful. So he'll be deeply missed by all of us, I'm sure. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anna Youngers, and Carl and a lot of the professors here know me as Annie. And I first met Carl in 2003 when I took his printmaking class. It was towards the end of his time at Augustana. and I had won some of the invitational awards from the high school that gave you free, like a free 3-credit hour course. And so I was trying to decide. I was doing my training at the time with 2 painters who lived here for a period of time, studying sort of the classical academic approach to drawing and painting. And they had encouraged me to take printmaking with Carl, that they had taken printmaking, that printmaking is a wonderful art form that is very misunderstood, and that it was just a wonderful legacy and tradition to be part of and to understand, and that Carl was a great technician and understood so much about the art of printing that now there has been a little bit of a resurgence, I would say, in printmaking, but for a long time it still to a lot of people is very misunderstood. So I took printmaking with him, and I had not taken any other courses at Augustana, so I had to get permission from the registrar. I had to call Carl and ask him if I could, opt into his class without any prior, prerequisite courses. So I called, I think I went over to the art building. He wasn't there. There was a little old rotary phone that I picked up and dialed his number, and I was waiting, ringing, and he answered, in his big gruff voice. And I explained who it was, and I said, can I would like to take your printmaking course. I've been studying with my teachers downtown. Oh, I know who they are. I said, would it be possible if I could take your printmaking course? And he said, well, are you going to work hard for me? And I said, oh yes, I promise I'll work very hard. And so he let me in, and we just kind of struck a friendship through that. I would be in working, and he would come in the printmaking studio in the afternoon, whistling, or hello, I'm here, and play, so he would always do that so he wouldn't scare students who had been working in, very concentrated efforts, and would always be playing jazz. I was introduced to Billie Holiday through him, and just really enjoyed it. One day I was working on an intaglio of a self-portrait, a series of self-portraits, and he just got so excited, and he said, just hold on one second, I'll be right back. And ran out, got a book of Rembrandt's intaglio etchings, and you have to look at these, and he just always had something that he wanted to share with everybody, had so much knowledge and information, was just always teaching. He's like a natural teacher, and so it was such an honor to be able to get to know him in the last couple years of teaching. And then in these last 3 months, I'm a painter here in town, and I have wanted to do a portrait of Carl for many, many years, because it's Carl, and who else, is as big of a figure in art around here as Carl. And so I contacted Carl and asked if he would be interested, and I had talked to a couple other people, and Carl was the only person that I had approached who was like, oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. You should come paint me, and so I went over there and we talked about all kinds of things, and it was just such a pleasure to be able to spend time with him and hear all of his stories. And he just talked so much about all the people in his life that he loved, all of the stories and memories. He had, like he said, so many good friends, and every one of you guys he told stories about, and so he just, he really cherished the people in his life.
Well, hi, I'm Scott Parsons. And, privileged to be here, privileged to say some words about Carl. One of those difficult days where it's hard to find words. I'm awash with stories, thinking about Carl. I first met Carl when I was a high school senior, thinking about going to school in California. I teased my mother to come to Augustana, where she went to school. After I visited with Carl, I realized I'd been in the presence of a real artist. I needed to change my plans. I take myself in. And I was fortunate enough to go with Carl to Mexico on one of his great trips. Fred Plowletter as well. Fred was in the religion department, and they were studying liberation theology. And Carl about half of us were painting watercolors, but on that trip we were, well, one of the images I always remember of Carl is driving the van through Mexico. So we drove from Sioux Falls all the way to south of Mexico City. And in his book he describes one or two wheels going off the road a couple of times. But it was either oof dot, he was behind the wheel, or he would always do this sort of air brake. Every time he hit the brakes. And, yeah, Carl is my mentor, my hero. I try to teach, Janet was talking about when we first came here, the first thing she did was took me over to Carl's show at the Pavilion. That was 2005. I was humbled. How could anyone move into a position and fill the shoes of Carl like that? But I've tried to, like Jim talked about empathy. I think teaching drawing has something to do with empathy and compassion. And in that time in Mexico, Carl and the rest of us saw such dire poverty, such spirituality in the people that were visiting the slaughter settlements, refugee camps. Within a year, I was down in El Salvador. I had seen photos of Mexico in the midst of a war zone. And if you look at Diogenes' Dream, which is the print many of us know of his great prints, it started out as an artist painting a model. And then it became so much more. General with dark sunglasses that couldn't see the injustice, or the priest with his eyes closed. And I'll just finish with one quick story. Because Carl is such a great storyteller. He often told parables. And this was, of course, a true story. He was given a scholarship after his time in Minnesota as an undergrad to go to Europe for a semester. And he was visiting the details I forgot a little bit. I think it was the artist he used to find, but he was visiting a museum where this artist was taking models, painting the models physically with paint, twisting their bodies against canvases. A happening in the next room. All the press was there, cameras and all of that, and it was a true spectacle. But Carl wasn't about spectacle; it was about integrity and honesty. And he was in the next room looking at a sketchbook, open to a page. It was a Vincent Van Gogh sketchbook, and open to a page of a moth that Vincent had drawn with a stump of charcoal. And those few marks just told us how he broke down in tears, the sincerity of his punishment, and what Vincent was trying to do there, as opposed to that spectacle.
Thank you. I'm Margie Sherman Parks, and this is kind of funny. I'm at the end of the table, but actually I'm kind of in the beginning of Carl's, not the beginning of his life, but in between. I think it was 1954, 55 or something. Dorothy and I were in 3rd grade, and we both happened to have older brothers, and found out that our older brothers liked to draw. And our mothers got together, our fathers got together, and so I guess my family, what I remember of Carl are all those years. And it's interesting to hear all your stories because I really wasn't part that much of Carl's life when you all knew him or associated with him. And I would see him and we would see him, and he still was an old family friend. It's or kind of an older brother. And so I guess the one funny part about it was they liked to draw cartoons, and they liked to draw the drums out of the coming out of the bars. And they were 16, 17 years old, 18. So when it came Saturday and cartoons were on, guess who had to go to the cartoons? Dorothy and I, so that the older brothers could take us there to study animation. So we would always, when we want to be a part of their life, they were big brothers. They didn't want to be part of us. But when it came Saturday and it was cartoon time, then we were that. So I guess I've shared Carl and his family for many years, through all their lives and deaths. They'll always still be very precious to me. So I enjoyed hearing how you related to Carl, so that's sort of how I related to Carl.
Hello, my name is Diane DeVito. I met Carl first at Minneapolis College of Art and Design in Minneapolis. And I walked from the main entrance of the School of Art at the time down the design for the first time. And lining that hallway were Carl's lithographs. And there were skeletons, but they were so beautiful. The prints were so rich and so beautiful. Wow. I just fell in love with his work before I even met him. He was a teaching assistant at the time. And we got to know each other in 1966. And eventually, through other artists that you probably know, Brian Leo and a whole group of artists, and we started dating. We were married until 1985. And the greatest gift that Carl ever gave me were my three remarkable, awesome children, Carl and Sarah and Saskia. And I've been so blessed, so blessed. Also, he gave me a love of drawing. I wanted to take his drawing class. I'd taken drawing at Minneapolis College of Art and Design. I had a minimal drawing teacher, to say the least. And in my estimation, Carl was the best drawing teacher anywhere ever, because he taught me. He said, if you're going to take my class, you're going to have to work harder than anybody else, because you're my wife, and I don't want to show favoritism, so you're going to have to earn your money. I worked like a trooper, and I got an A. And he gave me a love and deep appreciation. I was introduced to jazz, but he really huge love of jazz for me, and that's another gift. And I'm just so pleased to see older faces of younger people who appreciate
Okay, I might lose it. His daughter Saskia. And my son Liev and my son Kai, who came with me. And I don't think I could ever, always aspired, but I don't think I could ever be the storyteller or the speaker, or the teacher that our father was. But just like hearing all these stories, it's amazing. Just, because we would get, when he would go on the winter interim and do his travels down to Mexico, and he missed my birthday, but I knew he was like having a wonderful time, and he would come back with like these wonderful treasures and stories. And I had, it was up in the art department and in his office just about like 9 o'clock Donahue time. And we're talking about that being kidnapped or taken away by the Aztecs. But I think that's where, through my father, I had a love and appreciation for art, and then archaeology. So just all things, the culture of people. And I think Dad really just embodied that, and all the people that so many different people from different walks of life, that he just embraced them and made everybody laugh. You know, from like the fish, you know, in the water, or he'd be like at the grocery store and he'd have it in his pocket, and then he'd try to write a check with the fish, like pretend it was a pen. I mean, he was the constant like entertainer. And like in his, during the entertainer and his etchings and lithos and paintings and I just want to, and if it wasn't, I just want to thank my sister Sarah for you know, for being there for Dad, and you know, not, it's hard being at a distance, but we're always in, you know, over the phone or on Skype or FaceTime, and then, but Sarah was just an amazing person to be there for Dad, and I know like everybody else in this room who helped us in times of need is just, I can never thank you enough. And I just want to let you know that he went peacefully into sleep, and he wanted me to turn on the MeTV. I turned it off because I was trying to rest, and then the nurses and stuff in and out. But he was comfortable, and he went into sleep watching MeTV, or watching, you know, his. I don't think Gunsmoke was on, but that's, he lived his life how he wanted to and to the fullest, and he went out with just an amazing group of friends, and his friends were your family. So, thank you.